You know, there are few things in life as comforting as the smell of something sweet baking on a chilly day. Today I want to share a recipe with you that is just pure coziness. It's my ultimate crumb jam tart, a dessert that's the perfect balance of rustic charm and honestly just incredible flavor. It's a real keeper.
And you know what? It absolutely delivers on that promise. Some people call it pasta frolla, others call it mabrusha. Whatever you call it, it looks like something you'd get from a fancy bakery, but it's so simple to make. It's kind of my secret weapon for when I want an impressive dessert without spending hours in the kitchen.
All right, let's get into what you'll need. The real magic of this tart is that it's made from the simplest pantry staples. This recipe is proof that you absolutely do not need fancy, expensive ingredients to create something truly spectacular.
So here's our shopping list. You'll need 125 grams of softened butter or ghee and a quarter cup of vegetable oil. Now, using both is key. The butter gives you that amazing flavor, but the oil is what keeps the crust perfectly tender and moist. Then we've got half a cup of sugar, 1 large egg, a teaspoon of vanilla, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and a tablespoon of baking powder. And of course, the star of the show, about 300 grams of your absolute favorite jam.
Now, here's our secret weapon, 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. I know, it sounds a little weird for a dessert, right? But trust me on this. The acid in the vinegar actually works to stop the gluten in the flour from getting too tough. It's the key to getting that perfectly short, crumbly, melt-in-your-mouth crust. Okay, let's put this dough together. And the best part? You can put away that stand mixer. You don't need any special equipment for this. Everything comes together in one single bowl with just a spoon to start. It's wonderfully simple. So in your bowl, go ahead and mix together your soft butter, sugar, oil, egg, and vanilla. You just want to get it to a nice, creamy consistency. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. Once that's mixed, stir in that little teaspoon of vinegar. Then you're going to add your flour and baking powder all at once. Now listen up, because this is probably the most critical step in the whole recipe. You are not going to knead this dough. I'm going to say it again, do not knead it. All we're doing is gently folding the flour into the wet ingredients until it just comes together. Any extra mixing is going to make the crust tough, and we want it to be short and crumbly, not chewy. So what should it feel like? You're aiming for a super soft, pliable dough, kind of like cookie dough. Here's a little test. Pull a small piece apart. It should snap right off, nice and clean. If it stretches at all, like bread dough would, you've unfortunately overworked it. A clean break is the sign you've got it just right. Once your dough is ready, just eyeball it and divide it into 2 pieces. One bigger piece, about 2/3 of the dough, and one smaller one. The smaller piece, you're going to wrap it up and pop it in the freezer. Chilling this part until it's nice and firm is the whole secret to that amazing crumbly topping we're going to make later. Okay, our dough is ready to go, which means it's time for the fun part, assembly. This is where you really see the tart start to come to life. Grab that bigger piece of dough and press it directly into your tart pan. You don't even need to grease the pan because of all that butter and oil. Just use your fingertips to press it evenly across the bottom and up the sides to form a nice little crust. Then, take a fork and poke a few holes in the bottom. This just stops it from puffing up too much in the oven. And finally, spread your jam all over the base. Now, go grab that piece of dough from the freezer. This is where the magic happens. You're going to take a regular box grater and just grate that firm dough right over the top of the jam. This is the classic technique for that mabrusha, or crumble topping. It's so clever and way easier than rolling out a top crust. A couple of quick tips here. As you grate, keep your hand moving to make sure the crumbs get distributed evenly. It doesn't matter if you use the big holes or the small holes on the grater, both look great. The main goal is to cover all of the jam, so don't be shy. And try to work pretty quickly so the dough doesn't get all warm and soft in your hands.
And there we have it. Our tart is all assembled and ready for its final transformation. Now we just let the oven do its work and turn this into a golden, delicious piece of art. You'll want to have your oven preheated to 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Go ahead and bake it on the middle rack for about 30 to 40 minutes. You'll know it's done when the top is a beautiful deep golden brown all over. And trust me, the smell that is about to fill your kitchen, it's your reward. All right, this next step might actually be the hardest part of the entire recipe. You have to be patient. I know how tempting it's going to be to slice into it right away, but you have to let it cool for at least 30 minutes. This is non-negotiable. It lets the jam set properly and helps the crust firm up, which is what gives you those perfect, clean slices. Okay, your patience has officially paid off. We have made it to the absolute best part of this whole process,
serving it up and enjoying what you've just made.
You can serve this tart in wedges or just cut it into simple squares. It's amazing all on its own with a cup of coffee or tea. But if you want to take it to the next level, a warm slice with a scoop of cold vanilla ice cream is just wow. You get that perfect mix of textures, the crisp bottom crust, the sweet jam, and that delicate crumbly topping. It's just so good.
This tart is the definition of comfort baking for me. It's easy to make, but it feels so special and satisfying. I really hope it becomes a favorite in your kitchen too. And it makes me wonder, what's that one recipe you always turn to when you need a little comfort on a cozy day?